Thank you. So I'm in charge in Grandi Stazioni Retail of the management of the innovation in the advertising business. So we will start with a small video. It's not too short, to be honest. In order to see how Grandi Stazioni Retail is interpreting in the new way the venue that we are managing. We are a brand new company because we was state-owned until 2 years ago, and now we are completely private. And this is the new vision for how to use the venue to make business in Italy.
Audio Jungle.
Just a stroll without a care, 'cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face. Yeah, so lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on, clap your hands and won't you sing along? And now let's take it up high, give our dreams their wings to fly. We gotta keep the fire, keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning. Feel the music from your head to your toes to your shoes. Kick them off and take a deep breath and shake off the blues. This is a brand new day that you can pave the way, because everything is possible. Shout and say, hey, hey, I gotta go and on it. Keep on pushing up and I'll march and move along. And good things all around now that I can see. And they said it wouldn't happen to me. Yeah, yeah, so take your hands, throw them up. You put them up high, clap it up and dance it out till you're ready to fly. Turn the music, turn it up just a little too loud. If you're alone, dance just like there's a crowd. And keep it going every day till the night. From when you first see the sun until the stars show the light. No, not a care in the world, not a word from me. I tell you, this is what it's like to be free. So lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on and clap your hands and won't you sing along? And now let's take it up high, give our dreams their wings to fly. Gotta keep the fire and keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning.
Audio Jungle.
Okay, so basically we have a lot of people inside our venues, and we wanted historically in Grandi Stazioni start to measure and understand the behavior of these people inside the venue. So about the advertising, which I'm running as a business, Grandi Stazioni manages directly the advertising business in the venue. So that means that we are venue owners, screen owner, publisher, and also agency. So we sell directly the spaces. And we were early adopters in digital, and digital for us does not mean only screens, but software platforms, audience measurement system, and data feed integration, which is the next step that we are launching. So we started putting screens 12 years ago on the venue, and we adopted Quividi in 2014, so we have a lot of experience in how to manage the adoption and how to interpret the data from Quividi. 2 years ago, we made our first euro from programmatic sale and automatic sales, and last year we focused on the activation of the data lake, because we have a lot of different kind of data, and to mix and to understand the mixing between the data is our goal. And we have also launched the unique visitor measurement using data from mobile cell phone. We are able also to understand the unique visit, the frequency of the visit, and it will be very useful. I will show you later for advertising and selling advertising in the TV market. About our networks, a few words. So we have 3 national networks. 2 of them are Quividi equipped, the small screen, let me say. We are not already using Quividi on the big screens. And there are more or less 820 screens. They are located in all the stations. Then we have also some what we call digital dominations. In Milan, we have Galleria delle Carrozze, which is the main entrance with 6 huge LED screens that accounted for more or less 320 square meters. And then in Roma Termini, we launched a few months ago 2 twin transparent screens that are 160 meters each, and they have a dwell time that we are evaluating in 3 to 5 minutes. You have a long walk, a 200-meter walk inside the station, and you see this screen. So, what about our results in terms of audience after 4 years of experience in Quividi? So Quividi keeps now 600 screens. We collected 1.9 billion of OTS in these 4 years. This is the gender split, and this is the average dwell time and attention time of every one of the 2 billion people that we have counted. So we have a lot of dwell time and attention time, and we started to sell attention and not venue. We are also running magnificent venue, monument, but the new advertisers want to have data feedback about attention index and so on. So using this data, we started to do what we call phygital advertising. So where the places and the social media starts to appear in the screen dynamically. This is a campaign from 2 very famous singers in Italy. They started to tweet and to retweet the message from the fan, and they were appearing. So fan went to the station to take a picture of the screen. So there's a lot of new people inside the station for this, and obviously new opportunity to see and opportunity to sell for the tenants inside the company. To have a measure on the difference between being only on the social and being also on a phygital venue. This was a very interesting campaign, a launch of the new logo of the Paralympic Committee. In Italy, we hosted a national hero, which is Alex Zanardi. This is with the sport ministry in Italy, and they had a social campaign and an event. So, and we retweeted the event on the screen. So, the social reach online about the event was 1.7 million reached, and in the same 3 days, we measured in the front of the screen with this content 6.2 million only in the station in the Milano station. That's huge, and this is an example on how the physical venue can improve the social media initiatives. This is just a joke. In order to understand the dynamic of the content, we will have a general election next month, and this is a foundation who runs a counter with the national debts, and the message is: since we started from Rome 3 years ago, this is the amount of debt that we have collected. So think about the promises about the political parties. So now we're selling data, we're selling audiences since 3 years, and now we are planning to have a move forward to change the company culture about how the data is managed internally. So we had some opportunity in the company. We're a young company. We're running retail, advertising, and events. We have very high footfall, and we have a data strategy that started 4 years ago. And our shareholders are particularly innovation-oriented. So we set up some goals to drive the cultural change inside the company in the data adoption for not only for customers but also internally, and capitalize all the amount of data available not only from Quividi but also from researches, footfall, data from shops, and so on, and to build and sell services around data to our end user in the station, but also to our tenant and to our advertisers. So this is how we are doing this. So we started to break silos. So we built our data lake using Bocconi University to help us to do this, and we optimized the data sources. One of my concern was about the quality of the data sources. There's a lot of data that you can generate or that you can buy on the market, and maybe every year we have to change your strategy about data. But the quality of the data, the quality of the researches, the quality also of the sensor is very important, because if you start to correlate and you have no good data at the beginning, at the end you can say strange things. So we hired and we added to our team data analysts from the best university in Italy, and we decided to keep this strategic skill, which is the analysis of data, internally. This is not a job for consultant, because they need to be very close to the business and to the business evolution in the company. So a small team of internal people able to analyze the data and convert in useful information for the company. And this is not an IT-oriented project. IT needs to support. IT is in the team, but it's a business. It's not IT. So what we did, this is a very crowded Friday afternoon in Milano Station, is started to analyze different data sources. We have a lot of data sources. We have audience tracking, we have the data from screen, we are running on broadsign, and we have Wi-Fi radar tracking, we have people counting, sensor researches, we are collecting information from train tickets, we are dealing also with credit card operators, shops. So there's a lot of data, and we need to understand which is the better kind of data to use for every single KPI. So we started to manage the granularity of the data and the KPI that we need to track and measure. So we need to measure audience by venue, by network, by screens, by campaign, and by single content, and give different information. So the first job was to put the good data source in the good box in order to understand what are the good data to understand the heat map for a venue, or the audience or the attention for single content for example. And this has been a huge work, and it's very useful at the moment. Then we started what we call to go fishing in the data lake. So now we need to sell and to build services to make money with the data. So we set up 4 domains. The first domain is the venue evaluation. We are talking about footfall. So using this data, we can evaluate the footfall of the venue, the dwell time, but also the single zone, the unique visitor, and the origin destination map. So we are running a small amount of venues. We are only 14, and they are very well connected by train. So the experience of my customer very often starts in one point and in another point in my network. So the origin destination, the frequency on the subset of stations are very important also for the advertisers. And this is the first language that we started to speak, the footfall, which is maybe the first language that every landlord or venue owner needs to speak. Then we started we moved to the out-of-home sales. So that's the OTS domain. We started to understand how many people are in front of the screen and expose it to the opportunity to see the screen. So that's about viewers, demographics. This is the first Quividi big domain that we used. We developed the campaign attention index in order to understand what are the subjects, the campaign that are working well or not on particular demographics and in particular areas. And we start to build also smart and reactive content. So in a train station, normally you run very fast. So we experimented some interaction that are activated by the presence of the people. Something like Mercedes had a good idea there was the smart and that the smart car was opening the roof with a balloon that were pink or blue, depending by the sex, something like this. And it's working very well, because maybe you pass by for 10 times in the week, and you say that at the second, third time, you see that something happened because you are there. It's quite interesting and engaging for the brand. So, and these are the two traditional domains in how to use data. Then we moved to the online advertising and to the CPM domain. So we started to talk with a web agency in order to get money from digital and programmatic sale, which we focused very hard last year. We need to start to talk about viewable impression, targeted CPM, and using this information, we started to adopt SSP, DSP, and to put our screen in the programmatic market. The fourth one is, so you need, if you run advertising business in Italy, you know that half of the business is made from TV, so we need to have TV budget. So we moved also to the GRP domain. Having unique visitors allowed us and our data analysts to do pre and post evaluation of the campaign, calculating gross and net views, frequencies, and reach, and our advertisers now are enabled to compare in terms of GRP the value of a campaign in the venue or with the value of the campaign on the traditional TV network. And this was the four domains, so footfall, OTS, CPM, and GRP. We launched a program for the programmatic adoption, sorry for the repetition. So 3 years ago, we started to talk about the models, and we started to understand what were the good partner and the good competitor to cooperate with. We did some tests. Then in 2016, we launched our real-time audience billing. So the original thing that we have now, it's in the programmatic market, is that thanks to the connection from our CMS and the Quividi, we are able to real-time bill the audience. That means it's a marketing trick that means no audience, no cost. The advertisers are very trusted in this because they know that if no people is inside the screen, which is not happening very often in the station, they don't pay for that impression. So they started to put money on this kind of product. Now we are adding other data as I showed you in the previous slides. Data sources, we built our data warehouse and data lake, and we are expanding also our presence. We started in 2016 using Adform full stack for the programmatic, and now we are adding more DSP in order to let agencies to automatically choose which is the best way to plan our networks and screen, and every DSP will have this offer, his condition, and his tool to reach the good screen. So what we did was with the integrated Quividi, the famous or infamous, let me say, impression multiplier. So the technology that allow us to count in real time the people which are currently exposed and to send in real time to the DSP in order to be counted on the CPM. Then we had some problem to solve because we understand that the language was very different between digital out of home and web when you talk in agency and so on, because DOOH is quite different from online, but buyers are the same. So you need to adapt your presentation and your language. You need to explain and explain and explain it again, the technology, the metrics, the camera, the privacy. So a lot of training for our sales team and a lot of evangelization for the market about and in this focus is very important to have good partners that are worldwide and they can help us as you did as Quividi with the Privacy Regulation Authority in Italy, help us in explain that we are making good thing. Okay. And then there's another curious thing. So we needed to set up the good price alignment versus the reservation model. So we had CPM, we had GRP, we had impression, we had execution, but at the end of the day, it's the same static that go to the same screen. So we need to align the price and maybe differentiate by services and not by channel. And we had some limitation format because obviously agencies asked immediately to build a dynamic HTML content through the programmatic channel, which is not allowed at the moment by the standards, but we are working very hard with the IB in Italy and also in other countries in order to expand the standard for the programmatic. What has been the action? So we immediately hired a data analyst to help the sales force. The sales force is changing, but they need still to sell our screens, also to the programmatic. So new skills and new support that we have to do to give to this guy. We're working very hard with our competitors in order to put some standard and allow agency to plan multi-publisher campaign. It's quite difficult in the digital out of home. It's a nightmare in the programmatic. There's some guys from Kinetic here that can, I think, say something about this. It's quite different. So we are reaching an agreement on with our competitor to have a simpler way to plan on different networks. And we started to sharing our experience and to put our experience inside the workshop in the EIB and other similar table. A few results of our first full year of programmatic. So we launched the real-time audience profiling and billing. The marketing trick was no audience, no cost. The inventory, we put more or less 10% of our inventory, just less than 10% of our inventory available via ad from DSP. We ran 95 campaigns from programmatic, from 22 advertisers and 9 agencies. These are a logo of a few of the company who choose to buy programmatically the screens. And in terms of prices, the average CPM price was €9.5. And we have more or less €500,000 revenues. This money was not in the out-of-home market. It's completely from web budgets. So this is the new thing, and the message is that the programmatic, the data-driven sales model in the out-of-home is working and is making new money for our market. This is I think, the biggest message that we would like to share as our particular experience in Italy. In terms of overall, on the screens enabled on programmatic, the programmatic account for 9% of the revenues, and in terms of our digital revenue is 4% and 2% on the all advertising sale. We are running both static and digital in the station. So that means that for the first year, last year, we had a digital turnover which was similar and similar to the static. So just to leave you some suggestions or takeaways that I'd like to share with you. So first of all, the message is it's working. The programmatic, the data-driven, it's working and it makes new money. And about the connection between the screens and the location, so the smart location are growing up, and the connection needs to be explored in order to understand what are the data and what are the insight that we can use not only to sell advertising, but also to sell and better sell shops and services to our tenant. The smart location will be soon measured with audience data. So Quividi will keep also glasses, will keep also shops, and we will, as a landlord, sell also shops using audience data. This is not an easy thing to do. You have to in a company, it's required high commitment, new culture, and specific internal skill. You have to focus on specific internal skill that depends by your business and keep internally and invest very much on this. And then maybe look for good partner for the things that are not so strategical. And then you have to be very flexible in data acquisition strategy. Every year, you will have a different kind of data to generate, new sensors, new privacy rules, third-party data to integrate inside your company, outside, give data to your partner to real-time sale and so on. So you have to be very flexible. So that means that you, in our experience, we built a data lake, and the data feeds are quite independent from the analysis and researches. We will be able to change during the time. Okay, that was my last message. Thank you.